What's going on out there, folks? Wanted to come on tonight and talk a little bit about a new party that's trying to form in the political sphere, and I think it's about time. I think that some of the people out there, actually I think most of our politicians out there have forsaken us. I don't think that I'm not saying all of them, so don't quote me as far as saying that, but I think that many of them have made a career out of being politicians, and they know how to line their pockets, whether it's through lobbyists or other means. So I think that it's about time that we look into doing something different. I think the two-party system is extremely corrupt. I think that there's not enough checks and balances. So I think that it's something that we need to really look into doing. And there's a few people out there that are looking into doing it and finding out exactly what we need to do to get one off the ground. So one of the things that is going on right now is we have a Facebook page up that's called the United States Patriot Party. If you are so inclined to check it out, you can look it up just like that for Facebook. It's the United States Patriot Party. Feel free to join. It's something I think that everyone should look into. It's for patriots. It's for people who believe in the Constitution. It's a whole new thing. It's not the Libertarian Party. It's not the Green Party. It's not the Tea Party. It's a whole different thing. And I think a lot of this is spawned off of what Trump has been able to do. I think he's shown us how that we need, or how to use courage to go against those in DC. You don't see anybody that's, people have their opinions about Trump, and that's fine. But you don't see anyone else in DC that's doing the same things he's doing. He's not backing down from him. He's doing everything he can possibly do. And I think that shows a lot of character. I think it shows a lot of bravery, maybe in some instances a little stupidity, but you know what? To be brave, sometimes you got to be stupid. And to be stupid, sometimes it's better to be stupid and brave than cowardly and living on your knees. So anyway, so give me 1 second here. I'm going to make sure that everything is public on this so that it can be shared. So give me 1 second as I dig through this. All right, so there's there is a Facebook page. There's a MeWe page for this group. There is also a Wimkin page if you're so inclined to check it out on Wimkin. There's been TikTok videos on it, and I'm going to show you some of the things that we're looking at as far as like logos, things like that. Now, this has been going around for a while, but something like this is what we're looking at. So give me 1 second here. And there you go. So that would be kind of a logo. It's kind of the lion. We've already got the elephant. We've already got the donkey. So why not do something that really roars, something that replaces them both? If you were to really think about what it means to be brave, what it means to be a patriot, what it means to not back down from something, a lion is a pretty damn good example of that. So I like this logo. There's others like it. So that's kind of what we're thinking. So I did a video the other day, yesterday actually. It's been about 24 hours, and this will give you an idea of how people are starting to think. And yes, I know TikTok's a Chinese-owned company, blah 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 blah, but you know what? It's still a great place to spread the word, and there are a ton of patriots on TikTok. So give me an idea how many views so far. So far on TikTok, in the 24 hours that I've done it, I've had almost 7,400 views. And out of the 7,400 views, I've had 2,000 likes, which is about normal. 223 comments. So it is picking up a little steam. And normally I get a couple hundred views, that kind of stuff. But I did this one, and it really seemed to pick up steam. So I think that there's a pretty good chance. Now there's let's see here. I'm gonna go on real quick and see if there's any comments. How are you doing? Hey, what's going on, Diego? I seen your live video earlier today. Yeah, I think that we all have a pretty good shot at building something like this. I know the guy that started the Facebook page has already looked into finding out what it would take to start a new party. There's all kinds of different things you got to do, and first of all, you got to build your support for it. Trump had 70 plus million voters the last two times he ran. So you were to take those people that are pissed off at the Republican Party or the Democrat Party and throw them in a new party, that'd be a pretty quick way to build it. So, I know that right now a lot of the Republicans that are out there are really pissed off that Congress, the Republicans in Congress, the rhinos in Congress, whatever you want to call them, didn't back Trump up on a lot of things this year, or actually since he's been in. Your Mitt Romneys and your Lisa Murkowskis and people like that. I think those people are the reason that a new party needs to be built. Those people need to be shut down. They need to lose their career in politics, and they need to be put on notice. And I think that if we were to build something like this and get it going and put real patriots in Congress, in the White House, I think that this country would just absolutely dominate everyone else. And that's what we need to do. The United States was a dominating country for a very long time. And we've lost that because, let's face it, we've had presidents, we've had congressmen, we've had everyone else that's willing to sell the farm to China, Russia, so forth and so on. And it's continually happening. And you got your NWO types and everything like that thinks that we need a one world government. Well, we weren't formed to be a one world government. We were formed out of desperation to get out of the British rule. And that was as close as we've ever been to being in a one world government, was back when we were owned by Britain. And, I think that if we don't start stepping up, I think that we're going to, in 10 years, we're not going to recognize the country. Hell, in maybe 2 years, we may not recognize the country. With this COVID stuff coming on, it's really giving them a chance to basically decimate us. Our jobs, our economy's crap. There's so many different things that's happened since the COVID fiasco that people are really hurting. They're not surviving, and they're looking for something else. And like I said, right now is the perfect time for a new party to form. I think it's real easy. It should be really easy with all the people that are disgruntled with the Republican Party. Even the Democrat Party, the Libertarians, this would give them a platform to get into. And, you take that and you do your checks and balances and you put the right people in there. I think that you got a really good shot at bringing the country back to what it needs to be. And this party would be a constitutionalist party. It would be bring us back to constitutional values. It'd bring us back to the religious values that we need. And, most of us want to be left alone. We don't want a larger government. We want a smaller government that just does what it's supposed to do. And that's basically keep us protected at home, keep us protected, keep the country protected, and, run the military and do what needs to be done. But when it comes to your home, your life, your work, your religion, that kind of stuff, they need to butt the hell out. That's the biggest problem that we have right now, is they're controlling our lives from the time that we get up to go to work every day until we get home. And that's not what this country was founded on. We were founded on religious liberty. We were founded on freedom. We were founded on them staying the hell out of our lives. That was the founding fathers' idea, was that they wanted us to have certain freedoms, and we were granted certain freedoms by our maker, and that's God. So there's certain God-given rights that they're trying to pull away from us, and I think that it's time that we go back into a party that believes in God again. And I think if we do that, I think if we were to have faith in that, I think that this country would turn around very quickly. And I think putting them on notice, I think getting rid of the Republican Party is one of the best things that we can do. With that said, this party would also be open up to the people on the other side. And I know that a lot of you are cringing when I say this, but there are a lot of Democrats that that are proud to be American. There are Democrats out there that are sick of seeing what their party's doing as well. I know that we've had a lot of Democrats that have flipped over to the Republican side just because Joe Biden was the person that they chose. So we can't be exclusively ex-Republican. We can't be exclusively ex-independent. We can't be exclusively anything. This platform would be open to anybody that wants freedom, anybody that wants to have personal liberties restored, anybody that wants to believe in God and be left alone by their government. I think that that's important. Yes, Russell, they are trying to control our homes. In fact, some states actually want you to wear a mask inside your house, in your own breathing space. Hey, Bill, how you doing, Bill Brock? I think that I'm getting to the point, you guys haven't seen me really animated yet, because I try and maybe portray some sanity, but it's coming to the point where my sanity is about gone when it comes to a lot of things. So I don't believe that getting on a camera and screaming and acting a fool and that kind. I don't feel like that is me. Now, that doesn't mean that if somebody gets in my face, I won't yell at them. I think a few of you here in Alaska got to witness what it's like whenever I really feel my blood boil. This has been a few weeks back. Actually, it was before we caught COVID. I might have actually caught COVID from this asshole. But there was a rally a few weeks back. I guess it's probably been a month and a half or so, where we got confronted by a guy we were doing a rally. It was after the election. I think it was a week after the election, actually. We were doing a rally, and a guy pulled up, blocked, we were in a parking lot. A guy blocked one of the ways down the street and started ridiculing everyone that was still a Trump supporter and, American values and stuff like that. This guy literally parked his car and was trying to stir up some crap. And there's a couple things that you don't do with me. And I've had family that's fought in the wars. I've had family that has served in our military. I've had family that, it bridges the generations that are out there that have fought for the nation. And I had a guy, and I wanted to talk to this guy. And I think it's important that we do continually want to talk to people. And this guy rolled up, and, we started having a little conversation, and he was being an asshole, and he was saying all kinds of different things. And then he flat out called me a Nazi. Dude, I lost it. I'll be honest with you. That's probably the loudest anyone's ever heard me get. And I scared the guy. I really scared the guy. He didn't know what to do. I don't think he expected the reaction. I think many of the people that we were around didn't expect the reaction. But, whenever something builds up in you and eventually explodes, it's kind of like that song. Kenny Rogers is actually one of my favorite songs because I believe that it happens more than we know. The Coward in the County, or the Coward of the County. And the song basically goes around, dude his dad had died, and he was raised by his uncle. And he had promised his dad he wouldn't do anything crazy. And his dad died in prison. So he promised he wouldn't start anything or do anything. But at the end of the song, I guess his girlfriend or his woman had been, it doesn't really say other than they'd been messed with. And anyway, he had to go into the bar, and he dealt with 3 or 4 these guys that did that. And that's how I felt. I mean, you can only get pushed around so far before you start fighting back. And, I'm the kind of person, I'll never throw the first punch, but I'll sure as hell try and throw the last one. And I think that's what most of us, we're at that point. We're at that point where we're tired of getting pushed on. We're at that point where we're tired of getting told what we can and can't do anymore. And I think that eventually, people are going to snap. And I hope that doesn't happen. I don't advocate for that, but I do advocate for us fighting back. And I don't necessarily mean a physical confrontation. I mean legally. I think that going out and doing things the right way is always the better way to do things. But there comes a point when, sometimes even doing things the right way, it doesn't get done. So with that said, I think joining building another party, something giving us another option, is one of the best things that we can possibly do. And if we can do that and we can get it built and, give the patriots of this nation another option and, maybe a better way, into Congress. Right now, you've got Republicans and Democrats controlling Congress. You got Republicans and Democrats controlling the Senate and the House and all your state stuff. And what's it gotten us? It's gotten us nothing but problems. I think that having another option out there and some more new ideas, I think, is probably the best thing that we can possibly do. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited that, I was kind of asked to help out with it a little bit. And, I think that if we can start doing it, start forming, coalitions and things like that in each state, I think it's huge. First of all, you got to have a platform. Second, then you got to put your states into motion and start putting people on ballots and start raising money, I guess, is the next step. So you got to get your 503c or whatever the hell it is for the political party set up. But we're working on all that. There's a website that we're working on and trying to get that out there so we can get people off of Facebook. That's an important one. People on Facebook, there's been groups. I know that there was a anti-Biden group that had 1.7 million viewers or 7 million members on it that got wiped out yesterday or day before. So let's see. Marna says, if we don't, we will lose all of our freedoms. Absolutely. And we're seeing it getting taken drip by drip, minute by minute, day by day. Things are just getting stripped from us. So if you look back at the Constitution and everything that they had afforded us and what we have left, it's hardly anything. Cara Duvall, yes, you got to fight fire with fire. Absolutely. Adam Raines actually registered independent. That's great, man. I'm glad that you registered independent. But let me ask you something. On the independent side of things, I'm not saying that it's wrong. And, I think most of us kind of feel like we're more independent than anything else. But what have they been able to accomplish here the last 20 years? They've put up a few candidates to run for office, but they haven't even made the debate stage. I think that, the independent party is good. But if you look at some of the candidates that they've put forward the last several elections, I mean, Gary Johnson, that guy was kind of a joke, man. Honestly, we have to put politicians, I don't even want to say politicians, we have to put patriots in there that will run on fact, will run on straight constitutional values. That's the huge thing. As we get these people into the hem and haw, and they don't have a strict screw you attitude. They don't. And I get that we got to work with other sides and we got to work with other people, but there's certain things that you just cannot sell out to, I guess is the best way to put it, because you have, and then the Democrats are golden with this. What they do is they say, well, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. The next rally, they're going to veer off of that and they're going to go to something else. We can't do that. One of the biggest things that I think that we have to do is we got to stick to our values. We got to stick to our guns. We can't, veer off of that anywhere. It has to be, this is what we're doing. If we start hemming and hawing, we start putting people like AOC and Omar Ilan or whatever the hell her damn name is out of Minnesota. You get people in there that start steering the party one direction or the other, you're going to ruin it. So we have to have a set of goals. We have to have a set of things that we're going to put in the platform, and that's what we need to stick to. And if the people that want to get in, they don't want to go by them, that strict party line. I hate to use party line, but if they don't want to go by those values, those sets and core values, then they're probably not good enough for the party. And we can't. I'm starting to get a little fired up here. I'll be honest with you. So we can't stray away from our values, and that's what the Republican Party is doing. They're selling us down the road. And I got in a little trouble up here. I'll be honest with you. I got in a little trouble up here because when I first moved out, there was a few times when I had run into a few people with the Republican Party. And I still believe in the things that the Republican Party can do, but the Republican Party won't do. That's the problem. You got Lisa Murkowski. How the hell did she end up becoming a Republican? She's literally the biggest rhino we got in the state. And what ends up happening when you get a bad seed in there is it poisons some of the rest of them. So, you know, if you look at Alaska, we voted for Trump, right? If you look at the numbers, we're a red state. We voted for Trump. But yet you got Lisa Murkowski that's going down there into Washington, D.C., and she's not backing the man up. Okay, our representative should be backing the guy up that we voted for. That's not what's happening. So, you know what? I hate Lisa Murkowski. I think she's one of the worst representatives that we could ever have. I think that Mitt Romney's another one. I think that they're both crap. I think Susan Collins is another one. I could just keep going on and on about how many rhinos we got in the Republican Party that we've allowed get in there, and we keep putting them back in office because, oh, well, they have an R in front of their name. I think that we are slipping when it comes to the values that we have to have. And I know here's another thing, too, is the money. The lobbyists that put money in there that pay for these people to run for their campaigns and everything else, I think that that's a huge mistake. I think that lobbyists need to go. And we even have the gun lobby, right? You got the, oh my God, there's actually several different gun lobbies now. I mean, you've got the NRA. They're not sticking up in many ways, for the people who love guns and who love their Second Amendment. They've let a few things slide. The bump stock, I think that was a stupid thing, and them getting rid of that. And, you know, the NRA not really fighting back on that. The problem is, and all these politicians that are in there know that if you give them an inch, they take a mile, or they take 10 miles. So if they win one thing, they're going to try and win 20 more, just like it. So I think that we have to be aware of that. I think that we got to be smart when it comes to putting people in. I think that, I think the representatives and stuff in each state, I think that they need to be smart people. I don't think that we need any crazy people in there. No cray-cray, okay? No cray-cray. We need to put people in there that have the values and that can represent the group and the party with intelligence and passion. Right now, we have no passion left in the Republican Party. I don't see it. I see maybe a few people. I guarantee you, here's the thing. I guarantee you that if we get the party on the platform on, start it up, I guess, we get it going and we get it off the ground. I guarantee you that some of those people that we see with the Republican Party that have passion, they're going to, you know what? They're just going to step right on in to the Patriot Party, because that's exactly what they are. They're patriots. They're going to learn that they're going to want to be associated with something that represents them. And I guarantee you that the Republican Party is dead in the water. And I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. This is kind of me making my stand. And, if it doesn't work out, I'll stay Republican. That's how I'll vote. I'll either vote Republican or I'll vote independent. But I'll vote for my values before I'll vote for a party line. If I think that there's someone in there that represents my values and what I believe, that's who I'll vote for. And that's why, for the last 6 months, I've been trying to meet the people that are running for our local government here in town. Guys like Mike Robbins, guys like Dave Bronson. I want to meet those guys because if they're going to represent me in our local city government, I want to know something about them. I want to know that they're going to fight for my rights. I want to know that they're going to fight the same battle that I fight for. So if they do that, then I'll vote for them. They'll get my vote. If they don't do that and they're willing to compromise on anything, more than likely I won't vote for them. So I think that we got to have people in there that are not willing to compromise our values. And right now, you got the Republican Party that are full of compromises. Unfortunately, that's how we've ended up giving up the country. Let's see here. I'm going to look at some of the comments real quick before I get even more fired up. Let's see here. See that the legal process is in the works. Yeah, exactly, Kara. They're all sellouts. Pandemic. Bill, I love you, brother. Let's see here. Joseph Lacerma's watching. Adam Raines, but our legal system is now corrupt. It is corrupted. But you know what? It didn't get there overnight. That's the one thing. It didn't get there overnight. It didn't happen like tomorrow. It's going to be a lengthy battle. It's going to be something that we're going to have to work our asses off at. And you know what? Anything that's worth working hard for is worth winning. So that's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to buckle down. You know, the conservatives of this country have never had a problem working to get something done. And if we continue to just sit behind our computers and bitch and moan and use the keyboard as our sounding board, then we're never going to get ahead. So, you know what? We need to, as conservatives, we need to shut the computers off. We need to get out there and we need to bust our ass, and we need to start doing the things that we need to do to bring the country back. We can't expect it to come back by sitting behind a keyboard and just going, yeah, I hate this country. I don't like what's going on, and these people are assholes. Well, go out there and tell it to them to their face. That's what we need to do. You got to go out there and you got to get in their faces. I hate to say this, but in many respects, Maxine Waters was right when she said you got to go out there and you got to confront these people. Now, I don't mean we got to go out there and beat them up, but I think that if you catch your public representatives and stuff out in public, I think that they need to hear from you. I think that they need to know that you're not happy with how they're doing. I would never advocate for violence, not until it happens to you first. If it happens to you first, then by all means, you know, do what you got to do to protect yourself and your family. But, you know, I think that, you know, these people work for us. We're their bosses. We need to be able to tell them the performance sucks. We need to be able to tell them that, hey, you know what? I'm not voting for you next time because you suck. I think that that's completely above board. I think that we need to be able to do that. I know we got a lot of hate. I'm going to be honest with you. We got a lot of hate for going out last week. We went out last week and we drove around a few representatives' houses, our mayor and one of our assembly members. And we didn't hurt anybody. We didn't do anything other than honk a horn and, you know, and use a bullhorn a couple times. And we went around the block 3 times and then we left. You know, we just wanted to remind them that, hey, you know what? This is our city too. We know where you're at. It wasn't a threat. It wasn't anything like that. It was just a reminder. Hey, you know what? We're here too. We're not working because you made decisions that let us down. And that's all that was. And we got a lot of hate from that, even from our own side. And the funny thing is, I seen people that hated on it that had, you know, commented on the live video and gave us American flags and things. So, you know what? You know, they're saying one thing over here and then they're, you know, looking over here and doing something different. So I don't like that. You know what? If you're going to say something, say it, you know, say it to our face and be good with it. I don't care. But I think that we have a lot of underhanded things going on in the country. And I think that the best way to do it is to make sure that we put people in place that won't do that. Now, there's no guarantee that whenever somebody joins a party and we put them in as a representative that they, you know, do the right thing. But I think that we put something in there that lets us remove them when they have screwed up. I think that that's a good safety net. So that's something that we should be looking into. The party politics is gone. I don't know if we're ever going to have another Republican Party president. I don't know if we're ever going to have, we're ever going to come back from what we're about to lose. That's the thing that worries me the most. So we are a long ways from being a healthy country right now. And it sucks. Back in the 80s, man, we were rocking it. And, you know, you didn't have hardly anything to worry about except for the Soviet Union. And they weren't exactly doing well. So we weren't too worried about that. I mean, I remember so much good that this country has done and done for other countries. And, you know, it just blows my mind that there's been such a wedge driven between the people of this country by our politicians. Our politicians, the news. I think that if the Patriot Party were to take over the White House, take over Congress, take over things like that, I think it would get us back into normal United States condition, I think is the best way to put it. You know, people in other countries love us. That's the thing that I don't get is, you know, if you look at the news and you look at things that's happening across the world, you know, you look at China and you look at Hong Kong was a really good example of this. You look over there And those people were fighting for the same freedoms that we have. And their country completely oppresses them. I mean, you look at COVID, it started over there, and as soon as it did, they locked them down, and all the protests that were happening just disappeared. And they were welding people in their homes. And right now, that's what that I'm worried about over here is if China were to get a handhold or turn this into a stronghold of some kind, everything that you value, everything that you love, everything that means something to you in this country will be gone. And I can't fathom that. I can't fathom living in China. I can't fathom living in other countries like Russia. This is our home. If we are not willing to fight for our home, then we deserve to lose it. I mean that. If we are not willing to fight for what's ours, then we don't deserve to have it. So, you know what? I have been fighting what I consider the good fight for the last 5 or 6 years. I see a lot of people out there struggling. I see a lot of people out there willing to fight for the same thing that I want to fight for. And I think that the best thing that we can do is to separate from the Republican and Democratic Party, create the third party that will dominate, not just win, but dominate everything else. I think that if we do it and we do it right, then I think people will leave both those parties in droves. We need to bring everything more back to center. We have too much too far right, too far left. I don't think it's so much too far right, but I know it's way too far left. We got to bring it back more to the center. We got to get back to traditional American values. We got to put this notion that we got to put this notion of this institutional racism crap to rest. I don't know a human being out there that I don't respect as long as they respect me. I really mean that. I don't know a human being out there that if they show me respect, I won't show them respect back. So this institutional racism crap that keep getting pushed by our local representatives, our state and federal representatives, it's a bunch of crap. And that's exactly how they divide you. And I hope that there's some Democrats on here that are listening to this because it's the damn truth. You know what? I've never showed racism toward any black person, any Asian person, any brown person, Hispanic person, and not unless they've done that to me first and it was in a joking manner and we both were okay with it. You know what? When you're working, you say stupid things and you know what? I've had more crap said to me about being a cracker or, a gringo or, I've had all that crap thrown at me. It's like water off my back, man. It doesn't bother me. The types of jobs I've worked, construction and mechanical stuff and everything else, you almost come to expect it anymore. And now, I mean, it's like, it's so just, the vitriol is so bad. I don't know. You know what's funny is they've turned the races on each other. And I used to take black guys out from Denver and go fishing all the time. And a lot of times there was fish that we didn't particularly like, but the black dudes in Denver loved the stuff. So we used to, instead of catching it and throwing it back, we'd save it for them and give it to them. I mean, that's how, a patriot's a patriot. We don't see color. We see American values, and we see, how people are and what they can bring to the country. The notion of racism just it completely blows my mind. And I know that there's people out there. I hate the KKK. I think that they're complete and utter trash. I hate Black Lives Matter because they're segregationists. I think that that's stupid. I think that they're not doing their race any justice. And yeah, I hate cops that kill people for no reason. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I hate every part of all of those three things. And, if you don't like Black Lives Matter, then you're behind cops that like to kill people. That's bullshit. I don't like anybody. I could care less if it was a white dude or a black guy or Hispanic guy or Asian guy. I don't care who it is. If a bad cop shoots a person without any kind of recourse, then it's bad. Period. I don't give a shit what your race is. But at the same time, and I also don't give a shit what your race is, if you're shooting at a cop, I think that they deserve to be able to shoot you back. That's how it is. If you're a criminal and you're shooting at somebody, you deserve to get shot. If you're a criminal and you're shooting at me, I'm going to shoot you. I don't care what your color is. I don't stop and go, what color is that guy? Is he white? Maybe I shouldn't shoot him. That's just stupid. And anybody that watches these stupid Hollywood movies, that's what's in your head. Stop watching the movies. Start using logic. Start using common sense. I know that common sense is not something that's all that common anymore, but use your brain. That's what it's in your body for. It's for logic. Let's see here. I'm kind of breaking up, huh? Let's see here. Problem is the swamp will push them down. Well, you know what? You got to push back. For some reason, it won't let me view. I'm censored more than anybody. Sorry, Pete. Log. Term limits for all. I agree. And you know what? We're not going to be able to change that until we get in there. Until patriots actually get into Congress, start putting bills forward, and they pass. The problem is right now you have so many rhinos, you have so many people that are willing to give up their values to make money, to make deals, to make all this other kind of crap. And that's where, right now, if our forefathers were to see and witness what Congress is doing right now, they'd be all rolling in their graves. And that's the sad thing. The institutions and everything that our forefathers built for this country did not have none of that crap. That's not what was meant for our country at all. I think that they foreseen some of this stuff happening. I think that when they wrote the Constitution, there are certain things in there. The problem is it's all been twisted. It's all been contorted into different things. And here's the thing. If you look at what the Democrats and the Republicans both, and I'm going to say them both, because what they've done is they have taken a wonderful piece of history and a wonderful piece of you could say legislative artwork, I guess. They've taken this wonderful document and they have contorted it to their needs and their wants and all this kind of stuff. And the way that they did that is it's through they use a term, and you'll hear this all the time. It's up for interpretation. Well, that is not up for interpretation. It says what it says, and it doesn't say what it doesn't say. One of the Supreme Justices that died, Antonin Scalia, stated that, and it's the truth. It says what it says, and it doesn't say what it doesn't say. But your Democrats and your Republicans that like to twist that a little bit will say, well, we interpret it differently than you do. Well, there's no interpretation with it. It's pretty straightforward. If you read the Second Amendment, it tells you that a well-regulated militia necessary to the security of a nation, and it goes on, that it's pretty damn straightforward if you understand the English language, that's what it means. Same thing with the First Amendment, the Fifth Amendment. That's what it's there for. It's there for reference. And you know what? We need to start using that as our tools. The problem is it's not being used correctly. It's not being, okay, this is what it says. That's what it means. You're a violation of it. You go to jail. That stuff was put in there to not only protect us as citizens, but it was also to show us, the citizens, what laws our politicians and our representatives have broken. So if we don't start using that in that manner, then we'll never win this country back. There's certain things that were put in there. One of the big things I see is, congressmen and all this kind of stuff can't be arrested. They can be arrested, but there's three ways that you can arrest them. And I off the top of my head, I can't remember what it is, but they're in there, and you can look them up on Google and you can find them, but you have to be able to prove it. And I know that typically we don't arrest our politicians, but we need to start doing it. We need to start going into Congress. We need to start going into the branches, and we need to start wrapping them up. Unfortunately, DC is a branch of the federal government. That's owned by the federal government. So you don't necessarily have to go do it at Congress. All these representatives go home eventually. You know, Nancy Pelosi's home in San Francisco got, I don't know. Apparently they got vandalized or something, had a pig's head or something out front. I don't know. And then Mitch McConnell's house got vandalized too. So, you know, I think that's when you get them. You get them when they're at home. You get them whenever they're not in D.C. You know, right now in D.C. they're protected. So they don't have regular, what I would consider officers there. They got the federal police there. I've been there. I've seen them. But I think that if you're going to get them, you're going to have to get them at home. And I don't mean get them by like attack them. I'm talking about arrest them. I think that's the time you get them. They've broken the law. They've broken the Constitution. They've violated their oath. And the only way that we're going to get them to start following their oath and start keeping their oath is by start putting some of these assholes in jail. And, you know, federally, I think that they would be nice to see these guys arrested by the military police, taken out behind the chemical shed and shot. If you want to use a V for Vendetta reference. I literally, if you look at the progression of how things have gone the last year and a half or so, we're following a fucking movie script. Excuse my French. I know people don't like it whenever I curse on here, but we are literally following a movie script. You've got a disease that's locked us all down. It came over from another country. We didn't manufacture it or make it, but it came over from another country. We're the last country that, you know, I'm sure these other countries, they're telling their people, oh my God, you don't want to go to the United States, you're going to get COVID. You know, there's millions of people dying over there. Well, no, but that's exactly what's going on with the news. And, you know, I don't even know if what's going on over in China is accurate. You know, our news is so poor and so biased that we don't know exactly what's going on anywhere. And have you noticed in the last 5 years, they've really stopped reporting overseas stuff unless we're at war? We don't have it. There's no reason for them to be anywhere anymore because there hasn't been war since Trump's gotten into office. We're not sending people to Afghanistan to cover it. We're not sending people to Iraq or Saudi Arabia or any place else to cover anything because you know what? There hasn't been any war. We haven't wasted money on that. We have put money in and refunded our military. But you know what? That's something that we needed to do anyway because eventually these other countries that we go to war with, they're going to eventually try and hit the homeland. So I give Trump props for that. Dewey Wells, because our economy is based on consumerism now, so all the big corporate businesses can buy the political parties. Amen. And it's all the lobbyists. Look at all the lobbyists we have. We got the NRA. We've got, you know, the people out there pushing for abortion, and we got people out there pushing for clean water. And I mean, you name it. There's more. I think there's more lobbyists than there are races in the country anymore. And, you know, and we're the melting pot. You know, so our country is supposed to have, you know, a big group of people here. But I think we got more lobbyists out there. You know, we've got the International House of Tree Huggers. You know, it's crazy. I mean, if you have any kind of concern about anything, you can become a lobbyist as long as you got the money to do it. You know what? I think there was a funny thing. I think Jeff Foxworthy said this a long time ago, and I love Jeff Foxworthy. I love Ron White and Bill Engvall and those guys because you know what? There's a lot of truth in comedy, and I think that I think it was him. I think it was Jeff Foxworthy that said that I think that every politician should be wearing a jacket with all their sponsors on it, like NASCAR, because you know what? If they were to do that, then we wouldn't have to guess and look it up. But if you look at how many different lobbyists have given the Republican Party, the Democrat Party, probably even the Independent Party, I don't know. If you look at how many lobbyists have given money to these people, it'd make you sick. And not only how many people they've given it to, but how much money they've done. It would make you completely sick. I'm sure that there's internet lobbyists out there that push, you know, for Twitter and Facebook and all these other internet rights places and everything else. I mean, Yeah, Iran threatened our president's life, but you know what? We haven't bombed them yet. We did kill their number one military guy, though. Let's see here. We got anything else going on? Let's see. Yeah, Angela can hear me very well. I'm probably like coming through in stereo to her on her phone and in person. She's just upstairs. Um, and for those of you here in Alaska that have not seen me get animated yet, you guys are in for a real thrill, because when I get animated, everyone in the room will know it. I promise you that. I don't get crazy, but I will make damn sure that my voice is heard. And, if for some reason I'm in the assembly and they cut my mic off, that doesn't mean anything to me. I'm 6'2" and I weigh 240 pounds. I can belt out when I want to belt out. So, I don't know. I think that one way or another, the only way to get the country back is either bullet or ballot. And hopefully it's ballot. Because if it's not ballot, eventually it will become bullet. And I don't want to see other Americans shooting other Americans. I think that that's literally the worst thing that this could happen to this country, is us turn on each other. And that would open up the door to so many different ways other countries could hammer us and invade us. And it's just bad. I hate to even fathom the thought of Americans shooting Americans. I think that's terrible. Even if you gotta realize, people, and this is something I try and realize every day. So the ones that are awoke, I guess, and I hate to use that term awoke, but it's the truth. The ones that are paying attention, the ones that know what's going on, that see it every day, that really dig into this kind of stuff. I think that we see what's happening. And I think that there's a huge section of the country that literally, they're off their phone. They're not using computers very often. They're living simple lives, which I wish I could do now. So they're not seeing all the crap. Now, I think a lot of people are waking up with them not having a job. I think they're waking up by getting laid off and this COVID disaster taking place. I think that they're starting to see just how deep the corruption in our politicians run, and they're taking sides. And the problem is whenever they see something like this, the first thing to do is to turn on the news. And I think that there's still a lot of people out there that are not woke up yet. And you look at how many people voted. Supposedly there was like 74 million that voted for Trump and 78 million that voted for Biden. So what's that? 150 million people that voted? How many people are in this country? There's over 300 million, 328 million or something like that, or billion, whatever. But there's a huge section. I mean, 150 million that didn't vote. Think about that. What are those people doing? Are they just not paying attention? Those are the ones we got to get. Those are the ones we have to wake up, and those are the ones that we have to get to turn out. And maybe they voted before and they're just sick of it. Maybe they see something that we don't see. I think I almost guarantee you my dad didn't vote. I can almost guarantee you he didn't vote. Not because he doesn't believe in who we have in there now, but because he probably thinks that it wouldn't have done any good. Almost guarantee him. He's never been a political person. My mom, whenever she was still alive, she voted for Ross Perot because he had good American values. He was very much like Trump. If she was alive right now, she would have voted for Trump. I promise you. And that drives my sister kind of crazy, or my aunt Cindy kind of crazy, because she doesn't like Trump at all. So whatever. The thing is, the politics, and you know this as well as I do, it used to be back in the 80s that you could have a different view and you guys could still have dinner. You just didn't talk politics at the table. And now if you're a Republican, you don't even have Democrats over at your house to have dinner. It just doesn't happen. Or the other way around. If you're a Democrat, you look at Republicans like we're commies, or you look at Republicans like we're Nazis. Well, that's the same way we feel about you, but we would still invite you in our home. And the difference is we would do that to at least try and talk some sense into you. We wouldn't do it to attack you, unlike what you guys do to us. We would invite you in there to have a discussion and be peaceful about things and wait for you to attack us. That's how the Republican Party and the conservative side of things has always been. But I think that if we get something going on the independent side, or we get something going like the United States Patriot Party, I think that that would turn a lot of heads. I think that we'd probably have a lot of people from the Republican Party getting in, and I think that we would have a lot of people from the Republican Party would have to watch. The best part about this, though, is the people that are in Washington right now, we know them. We know who they are, and we know who not to reelect. So, I think that the country's taken notes. I think that the people in this country know who's screwing us. And I think that every single one of those people in Congress need to be ejected. I think that they all need to go. There's a few people in there I think that probably could maybe save themselves. But most of them are corrupt. Most of them have made money one way or another off of things that didn't have anything to do with our government. So that's my spiel for the night. I did want to come on. If you get a chance and you want to check out the United States Patriot Party, like I said, it is forming. We are looking into things that we have to do to become a political party. Eventually, there will be a web page for signups and emails and all that kind of stuff. So bear with us as we're working on it. Again, Jared Miller is the one who put this together originally. I got brought on as an admin for the group on Facebook and MeWe and Wimpkin, and it's building. Again, like I said, it was an instant hit pretty much on TikTok. There's Patriots on there. If you're not on TikTok, check it out, because I'll tell you right now, there's a lot more Patriots on there than there are on Facebook. There's a lot more Patriots on there than there are on a lot of these other platforms. And I'm telling you right now, it's good to see people's faces, because there's a ton of them on there. If you're a 3%er or you're a constitutionalist, it's easy to see who they are because their icon shows you who they are. So, Trump supporter, whatever you want to say, go on there and check it out, because there's tons of people on there. Jared, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate all you're doing. I'll back you 100% on this, because I think it needs to be done. I've been talking about it for a while. I think that it needs to be done. I wish I would have started it back when I still had all the followers I had before. But I think it's something that needs to happen. I think that we can do it. I think it's going to take it's going to be a huge undertaking. But here's the deal. Regardless of what happens on January the 6th, we have 4 more years before the next major election. And in those 4 years, I want to see different representatives from all the states start putting this together in their local state elections. I think that would be wonderful. I think having the United States Patriot Party as a party, it tells the people who they're voting for right off the bat, and they don't even have to see the name. If we're willing to put them in as a representative, I think that tells you everything that you need to know. So I think that's the route we got to go. Anyway, folks, I will catch you all later. We love y'all. Pray for what happens good on the 6th, and hopefully this country doesn't go any further down the rabbit hole than it already has. I love you guys. You guys take it easy.